Everybody, it is Kate. Today, I am talking about the 3 worst Christmas movies. Like, worst rated. All 3 have a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and also, I hated them as well. I almost forgot a hat. Okay, so let's get into the movies. We have Saving Christmas. Next, we have the Nutcracker 2010. And then, we have Christmas in Wonderland. And this one has the most star-studded cast. It has Tim Curry and Patrick Swayze. So I guess I'll start with that one. Patrick Swayze has 3 kids. They just moved to California. He takes his kids to the mall because he wants to get them gifts. Turns out he also doesn't have a job, so he's laid off. So the kids are just exploring the mall by themselves. So Brian, Danny, and Mary are the 3 kids. The 2 younger siblings. The older one, Danny, he's like, I'm gonna just go by myself. You guys can wander around the mall by yourselves, which is so crazy. While Mary and Brian, the 2 siblings that are younger and not responsible, are out. They're ice skating in the mall. I didn't know malls had ice skating rinks. That's so cool. They also have a giant pool area, so it's like a whole resort. But anyways, they find a bag of counterfeit money, and Mary's like, we could use this because our dad is literally broke and lost his job, and we could use this to get money. So they go around the stores, and they buy a ton of stuff, and then Tim Curry is a police officer for currency, like a counterfeit currency trade thing. And he's like, aha, there are some meddling kids with counterfeit money. And they track it back to Patrick Swayze and Patrick Swayze's house for some reason because they figured out that it was the kids who did it. They arrest Patrick Swayze when he's in the middle of the mall. His 3 kids are still in the mall. They don't stop them. They're just like, you're going, Buster. And he's like, my kids are here. And they're like, yeah, that's what everyone says. Blah, 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 blah. Your little accomplices. You wouldn't leave kids unattended at a mall and just arrest the dad, I feel like. Mary and Brian go through like the whole like heist chase scene where the people who have the counterfeit money are like chasing them, and these counterfeiters, their whole goal, they bring out entire huge duffel bag full of fake cash. They're gonna give it to cashiers. The cashiers are gonna give them back real money, and they're doing it on Christmas Eve so that it's so busy that they're not gonna have time to check it. Which I guess is kind of smart, but also they just have a giant bag. Like, I feel like you'd be more discreet about it than just having, like, bundles and bundles of cash. So the 2 main villains are brothers, and one of the brothers is, like, the fat idiot trope, and the other one's, like, the smart, suave one who wears, like, a suit. And it's so mean. He literally... he's just like, you're fat. You're a fatty. You should go on a diet, fatty. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they're fat?
And that's kind of their whole sibling arc, I guess. They report to their boss, who's this like baddie girl who's like, you lost the money to some kids, stupid idiots. And it's very funny because she like gets her hair done midway through the movie for some reason, and then after that she wears the most fake, most like synthetic plastic wig known to man. Like, it looks like you took it off the rack at Party City. If you can get Patrick Swayze and Tim Curry in the same movie, can you afford a little bit better of a wig? Or why does she even have to wear a wig? But so the kids are like running around trying to like hide in the mall, but it's like, why don't you just go to an employee and say these people are trying to kidnap me? But they run into the basement, and then like all 3 of the kids get separated. And the oldest sibling Danny does not know what's happening because he's left his siblings to go pick up chicks. And oh my god. The scene where he sees a girl, there's like a wave pool in the mall. He sees her. He's like standing and just like watching them through like glass and stuff. And he sees her and he's like, I need that. So he runs through the mall, down the stairs, through the wave pool, and like chases after her and like tries to find her and goes up to like anyone in the similar like bathing suit. It's crazy. You want that cookie bad. While those 2 are hanging out, like they're having like a little date, the 2 younger siblings finally meet up with Danny. Are like, these people are trying to kidnap us. We stole money. Dad's in jail now and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, right. And it's like the oldest brother also gets arrested, so he's hauled into the station as well. The 2 kids are alone at the mall, mind you. And Brian somehow gets a motorcycle, like one of like the small like dirt bike sort of, and just starts driving it through the mall. And then they chase after him, and then the girl chases after Mary. So the mean girl is chasing after Mary, and Mary almost fucking kills this bitch. She runs up to the roof of like the glass ceiling, hammers some of the glass, makes the bitch step over, falls into the glass, and is like hanging on to her dear. And she falls. She falls into water. But it's like, Mary, you could have killed her and you're like, what, 6? The 2 idiot brothers also fall into like a lake because there's like a giant pirate ship and there's water and stuff. Like, this felt like whenever you're having a dream and then it just keeps switching locations, because like one point they're in a mall, and then in the mall there is a tide pool. In the mall there is a sea lion exhibit. There is a giant basement where the kids just freely roam around. In the mall there is a shark tank. And I'm not talking about Mark Cuban. Full on shark. And one of the bad guys falls in because the other one pushed him into it. I'm sorry, what is happening? This is about some counterfeit money? Like, if I was these guys, I would leave, because it's like, even if you get that counterfeit money back, they probably already told the police and stuff, you know? But anyways, Tim Curry is like a semi-villain where he's like, I'm gonna arrest these people without telling them why and without trying to figure out who actually did it. Then finally, he lets them go and he's like, sorry I arrested the wrong person. Sorry, guys. And then they go back home. And then for some reason, the owner of the mall decorates their home for Christmas. And they did this because the owner of the mall was also the mall Santa and stuff. So it's like, I'm sorry, what is happening? You're the mall Santa, but like he dresses up as the mall. Hi. He dresses up as the mall Santa to like try to like meet kids, I guess. I don't know. Like, what would the owner of a mall want with a bunch of kids? Hello. Hi. And then everything's a happy ending. It's very weird because they got such good actors, but they didn't utilize them. Like, literally, Patrick Swayze is barely in this movie. Like, he's at the police station majority of the time, and even then, it's just him, like, sitting there, and it's, like, barely surrounded by him. So on to the second movie. This is Nutcracker 2020. Nutcracker 2010. It is with Elle Fanning. I love her. So, to give a quick summary, this movie is basically the Nutcracker with a Hitler rat. Like, I'm not even kidding, because they have, like, the whole, like, it's, like, the very basic, like, she has, like, in a dream, and then the Nutcracker comes, there's a curse, and there's a rat king. But the rat king is not a king, he is a dictator! Literally Hitler. And he has, like, an egregious blonde wig on, so I was like, is this a hint at who he likes? And also, Mary's uncle is supposed to be like Albert Einstein, right? Who, mind you, escaped the Holocaust. Like, he left Germany. So it's like, why are we doing this? I thought they were wearing like Nazi uniforms and memorabilia because it looks so similar. Like, it looks so similar. And even they have like certain scenes where it's like a ton of the soldiers are like marching down in the streets, and I'm like, is this a scene of like the boy in the striped pajamas? What the fuck is happening? But it was a very strange take because, first of all, I don't think the Holocaust and Nazis is a very fun Christmas holiday spirit magical time. I think those are like on like the opposite sides of everything. She has a whole dream, and then she needs to help the Nutcracker turn back into a human boy because Rat King Hitler and his little mom put a curse on him for some reason, and the whole movie is just her trying to help him be a boy. And so there's this scene when she's first goes into her like dreamland and shrinks down, right? And the snow fairy, what's her name? Sugar Plum Fairy or whatever, literally, so like there are a ton of like magic sparkle girls dancing around like flying, and they're like, jump Mary, you can fly.
You can join the dance if you like.
But I can't fly.
How do you know if you've never tried?
Come on, Mary. Follow us. Join us.
And I was like, are they gonna have this girl kill herself? That was what I was thinking, because it was literally sounded like someone in psychosis about to like end themselves, because it was like, you can do it, Mary, you can fly. How do you know you can't fly if you've never tried? And it's like, no, Mary, don't jump. But she doesn't. She's fine and she lands and whatever. Throughout the thing, it's like she's dreaming the whole thing. So her brother joins the Nazis. She has like all these like doll friends, you know what I'm saying? And one of the dolls, whenever the Rat King kidnaps all of them, they pull her head off and start tossing her around. This feels a little crazy for a kids movie because there are so many like dark elements to this where I'm like, this feels like it should be like closer to like a PG-13 movie, because if I watched this when I was a kid, I would be traumatized. They literally pull this poor girl's head off and throw her around. They put it back on, but I'm like, I know she's a doll, but she looks like a human. The entire movie is just horrible things happening to her and her friends and her having to deal with it. And this girl's so little. She's so little. But like they save everyone, and all of the prisoners who were taken by the Nazi rats escape. And the world is saved and the Rat King dies. So that's cool. And then she wakes up and she's like, that was a crazy dream. It was kind of crazy to have the whole World War II element. Like, I was not expecting a Schindler's List X Nutcracker anytime soon, but here it is. I really don't know what else to say, because it's like, there is a plot, but it just feels so mixed up because it is a dream, and I think that was like part of the intention, was to kind of make it like not flow super well, but it's difficult to talk about when that happens. Also, the Rat King, he like morphs midway through the movie, and he does it multiple times, and it's so fugly looking. He's like, ah, and then his like jaw like unhinges and he turns into a rat. It's like those filters that turn you into a horse. That's what it looks like, except it's a rat, in case you couldn't tell by his name, the Rat King. And also me explaining that to you. But he does that, and the little boy, her brother, is like, that's so cool, you should do it again.
Wow! Can you do that again, please?
And it's like, bro, you're sucking up to a Nazi? Like, come on. You're sucking up to Hitler himself. Yeah, very strange movie. There are, like, it's funny because the reviews are either people who watched it as a kid and were like, this is the most amazing movie ever, I don't get why people hate it. And then the other ones are like, I wish I could gouge my eyeballs out after watching this. I'm kind of in the second category. It was pretty awful. I kind of like forgot half the plot and I literally scripted it. Like while I was scripting, I was like, this doesn't flow well. So onto the third and probably worst movie on this list. It is Saving Christmas. If you don't know, Kirk Cameron is a very religious, very right-wing person, and he has a lot of shitty takes and a lot of horrible things he has said, so I don't feel bad in the slightest about making fun of him and his dumbass movie. So the whole movie is pretty much Kirk Cameron, his sister's husband, his name is Christian, does not like Christmas. The whole movie is Kirk Cameron being like, actually the Christmas tree is from the Bible. Actually, presents are from the Bible. So you actually have to have holiday spirit. And he is so smug throughout this entire movie. I think that's the best word to describe it, because it does not feel like he's acting. It just feels like he's like, I'm gonna prove a point to all these dumb assholes who watch this movie. So his friend, or I guess brother-in-law, Christian, is like, hey, I don't like Christmas. I'm a bit of a sulk. I don't think Santa represents Jesus. I don't think Christmas trees represent Jesus. I don't think presents represent Jesus. I think it's a greed, gluttonous holiday that is secular and stuff. And Kirk is like, well, you're all wrong.
You're all wrong.
And it's like, he's allowed to have an opinion that's different than yours, Kirk. Because he's literally like, no, you're wrong, and I'm gonna explain it why. Like, Christian is hiding in his car away from, like, the Christmas party. And Kirk follows him out and is like, I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong and why you need to live Christmas. The whole movie is just him telling us stuff. It's not like a movie, it's almost like a PSA. Because there is no showing, it is all him being like, okay, I'm gonna tell you this other thing, and I'm gonna tell you this other thing. So Christian is like very vulnerable, going on and on about how he doesn't feel like it's right, and then, oh my god, the way Kirk sits, he's like, Kirk goes on about like the story of the nativity scene.
Let's start with your snow globe. The nativity.
Which, I don't know why he's telling Christian that, because Christian is like, that's the only part I like about Christmas, is the nativity scenes. So he's like, now I'm gonna tell you all about that part. And it's like, we fucking know! That one is so explicit. Mary, Joseph, and a baby in a manger. Obviously, we know that is about Jesus. Like, it's like, he's so... I thought that was my dog, it was this. Like, he's so smug to the point where he's like, I don't know if my Christian friend is gonna know Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, so I'm gonna explain it to him. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. You are insufferable to listen to. And like, while this is happening, inside the party, there are a few people who are like just hanging out, and it's so funny because like literally there was like a 3-minute scene of them being like, "You're not allowed to say Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays, these woke people are ruining my life."
They're already taking away our freedom of speech. I can't say Merry Christmas at work no more. I have to say Happy Holidays.
And it's like, no one is gonna say that to you. Like, no one's gonna say, "You saying Merry Christmas offended me, and it makes me really uncomfortable, and I'm gonna get fired." It's like, no one cares, dog. You are making up problems. Like, you want to be oppressed sometimes, it feels. And I think part of it is just like being like, wait, there are other people who don't celebrate Christmas, so they hate me and they want me dead. And
You heard about Area 51? What about Area 52? That's where they're keeping all the mangers and trees and nativity scenes they keep taking down.
then they're like, yeah, they're getting rid of our nativity scenes. It's like, motherfucker, who? It's very annoying. It paints a very bad light on Christians, I feel like. Kirk is explaining how Christmas trees are in the Bible as well. He talks about it in Genesis, and I think it's just him being like trees, because there's no specification of the trees in Genesis, because he's talking about the fruit of good and evil and all this stuff, and it's like, dude, that tree is probably not a evergreen or a pine. He's like, yeah, God made all trees, so inherently Christmas trees are from God. Which is like, sure, whatever you want to say. But the whole idea behind Christmas trees is a pagan belief. And obviously, you can separate the two. A lot of times, pretty much no one who has like a Christmas tree up celebrates pagan beliefs in the way that it was originally made. Sorry, my dog is distracting me. You can understand the origins of it and not necessarily take it. Don't eat the ornaments. You are such a cutie. But it's just like, he's like, yeah, and it's not any of that pagan stuff. We actually came up with it. And it's like, you are just erasing culture and history and stuff. This whole thing with like the Christmas trees just feels like very disingenuous from him. Like, it feels like he's almost making a mockery of it, because he's like, yeah, this is actually from us. And it's like, you are literally being such an asshole. Like, what is your problem? I feel like Kirk is very sacrilegious, because this feels insane. It's not even to the point of like reaching. It's like, you are just saying words. Kirk is like, and did you know Santa Claus fought for God? And it's like, brother, what are you on about? And there's this whole like scene of like Nordic people and Santa Claus. And then literally after all of this, his friend is just like, "You're so right. I was wrong the whole time. I'm an idiot." And then he sits on Santa's lap and gets gifts and stuff. And it's like, not a big deal if someone doesn't want to celebrate it, because it's like, they don't feel comfortable celebrating it if they don't feel like it aligns with Christianity or any other religion for that matter. Like, it should not matter. And Kirk is like, you are not a good Christian because you don't like Santa Claus. And it's like, dude, take a Xanax and chill the fuck out. And then at the very end of the movie, they have a horrible dance scene. It goes on for 5 minutes.
Niggas better wake up. I got cash in my pocket. Get your motherfucking cake up. Murder she wrote. Beat up the pussy. I'm on her dick.
I actually think it's the worst part of the whole movie. It is so horrific. Oh my god. And it's like all these characters that we've like met for like 2 seconds. And I'm like, this movie just felt like a whole like piece just so Kirk Cameron could act like a scummy asshole for an hour and a half while playing a character. And also, in the movie, Kirk Cameron is literally like, well, the reason why we can celebrate and people who don't have food can't celebrate is because God blessed us. And it's like, you are such a scummy asshole. They live in this nice house. They have a billion gifts. So it's like, if you want to show God's love and you want this to actually be like a holiday about God, maybe give some of your gifts to people who don't have them. Volunteer at a soup kitchen. Do something instead of just being a greedy pig. Like, I love opening gifts. I love giving gifts. I love Christmas time. And I'm not going to pretend that I don't and be like, well, I'm actually doing this because it's God's holiday. It's like, I know that about myself, that I enjoy opening gifts. Like a lot of people, I enjoy getting stuff. I enjoy giving stuff. I'm not going to hide behind my religion and just be like, well, I guess I just have to open this Chanel bag because it's Jesus' birthday. And like a lot of it is just him kind of being like justifying his wealth and his greed through Bible stories.
Pull out your best dishes, your finest linens, your nicest silverware, the biggest ham, every side dish you can possibly imagine, and the richest butter.
And it's like, you can be wealthy. I do not give a fuck how much money you have. Like, obviously to a certain point. You can't just be like, well, I made all this money and I'm going to keep it and hoard it and be selfish for God. When in the Bible, it says give up your belongings. When the Bible constantly talks about how it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go to heaven. Kirk, read the fucking Bible that you're preaching all the time and you're probably going to switch. You're just hiding behind this religion that you don't even know. Oh my God. Sorry about that. I have a lot of feelings about this man and this type of preaching where it's like, give to the poor while I get on my $1 billion jet. It's like, you smug little bitch. That was probably the worst movie of them all. Partially because I hate how Kirk Cameron sounds, how he looks, how he acts, and everything about him. Partially just because the story was not compelling. Like, I thought it was going to be like an actual story of like him showing him Christmas stuff, but it was just him and then like a B-roll of different Bible stories, which is fine, but I did not think it was going to be advertised like that because the cover literally looks like an action cover. And I guess I'm just a dumbass, but I was like, when is he going to do something cool? But thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy. And I hope you have a very, very, very Merry Christmas. I hope you get everything to your heart's content. Buy a big Christmas ham. And also, if you don't like, comment, and subscribe, you're going on the naughty list. And Santa's not going to give you coal. He's not going to give you anything because he needs it. Because did you guys know that his vehicle is not electric and the reindeer do not fly it? He uses coal. Yeah. So he needs that to fog up the atmosphere even more. Anyways, bye everyone. I really hope you have an amazing Christmas. See you next week. Bye.